This story is from when I was a kid. I don't talk about it often. Honestly, I can't. Whenever I even think about it, I get this crawling, sick feeling. I went to a boarding school way out in the suburbs. Cold, quiet, surrounded by woods that never seemed to end. My roommate's name was Weston. At first, he was just another quiet kid, but the silence around him didn't feel like shyness. Our dorm was simple. 2 beds, 2 desks, 1 tiny window that looked out onto the forest. And for the first few weeks, everything seemed normal. Until he gave me the list. It was folded neatly, creased like it had been handled 100 times before. No explanation, just a flat stare, and the paper pressed into my palm. The words were written in tiny, obsessive handwriting, a list of things I wasn't allowed to bring into the room. At first I thought it was a joke, until I read it. No frogs, no mirrors, no salt. That last one stayed with me. No salt. Who banned salt? When I laughed, he didn't. He just looked at me, dead serious, and said quietly, "It keeps things out." After that I noticed more. The whispering started, soft, rhythmic, almost like chanting, always after lights out. Sometimes I'd wake up in the middle of the night and catch fragments of words that didn't sound like English. And every night, I could swear I heard someone else whispering back. Then there was the notebook. He guarded it like a secret, always keeping it buried beneath his mattress. One day when he was gone, I couldn't resist. I reached under the mattress and pulled it out. Most pages were blank, but a few had names. Dozens of them, each one written carefully, then crossed out. Every one but a few. My hands went cold when I saw mine, my full name written near the bottom, not crossed out. I shoved it back and tried to act normal, but after that day, I couldn't. He knew, somehow he knew I'd looked. He started watching me more often, his eyes following me when he thought I wasn't looking. He'd hum at night, slow and tuneless. Sometimes he'd stop mid-hum like he was listening for something inside the walls. Then came the night I woke up, and he was standing over me. No muttering, no movement, just standing there. The moonlight caught his face, just enough for me to see his eyes. He was smiling. Not the kind of smile a person gives. It was wrong, stretched too wide, frozen like it hurt to hold it. His hands were raised slightly, trembling. Like he wanted to touch me, but something was stopping him. I screamed. He didn't move, didn't blink, just said, "You were talking in your sleep." Then turned and crawled into bed. I didn't sleep at all that night, or the next. A few days later, I came back to find a small snake coiled on my blanket. Alive, waiting. Weston was sitting at his desk, motionless. When I screamed, he looked up and whispered, "It's harmless, they like you." Then he opened a glass jar from his desk, and the snake slithered into it, on its own. That's when I realized he didn't collect them. They came to him. After that, the room felt infected. The air heavy, the walls damp. I started sleeping elsewhere, until the night I couldn't escape soon enough. I woke up frozen, completely paralyzed. At first I thought it was a nightmare, until I saw it. A black mass was forming near the ceiling, thick, swirling, poozing like a living shadow. Shapes moved within it, eyes, claws, twisting faces that didn't stay faces for long. It drifted downward, slow, deliberate, until it hovered over my bed. One arm, longer than it should have been, unfurled from the darkness and scraped against my bed frame. The sound was sharp, metallic, wrong. And then it reached for me. But before it could touch me, it flinched, like something had burned it. Then the entire thing convulsed and screamed. A sound so high and violent it made the lights flicker. It flew wildly around the room, smashing into the walls, ripping at our closet, knocking books to the ground, until finally it shot through the window, shattering the glass outward. I woke up this time for real. Only the glass was still broken, and the scratches were still there. I tried to move, but I was shaking too hard. Weston was snoring softly, completely still. When I finally gathered the courage to check his bed, I noticed something. His notebook was open, and my name had been crossed out. I must have screamed because the next thing I remember, the Raw was pounding on our door. Weston woke up, looked around, and said flatly, "It got out." That was the last thing I ever heard him say. By morning, all his belongings were gone. The administration refused to explain. Just told me Weston had been removed. I switched rooms, but the first night in the new dorm, I woke up freezing. The window was wide open, and on my new bed in the moonlight lay a folded piece of paper. It just said, "Don't bring salt.